Saw a video of Jeff Bezos the other day discussing effective leadership in business and how he structures his meetings to basically make sure the company progresses forward in the right way, assuming the data is correct. Now, this video will be about effective leadership in business and how you can make sure that everyone around you at least feels heard, because that's very important, not just to feel heard, but also to progress your business. Because if the founder, the CEO, owner, whoever you want to be, the person at the top of the corporation, doesn't listen to the people around them, then there's no point of having people around them. Because once again, in human nature, people want to be heard, people want to actually have contributions to things, especially when you start talking about high earning or very intelligent or very driven individuals. They won't just come and just sit down and do the job for 10 years, and expecting that is absolutely ludicrous. So having effective leadership in business is very important. Jeff Bezos went on to say that he actually structures his meetings in seniority from the most junior to the most senior. That's why he goes last, as being the chairman of the board, I believe he is, or something like that. He's no longer CEO, but anyway. So he will start off with the most junior person, because if he started the meeting off and he said something that was contradictory to what the most junior person brought to the actual meeting, then that is, again, not very good, because they could have data behind what they are going to bring to the meeting. And that is very important to actually be able to progress a business forward. So he says he literally goes most junior, the next, and he finishes off last, because he wants to create a culture where intelligence and innovation is rewarded, not corporate structure, which is unbelievably important. I could sit here today and go over all the effective kinds of business leadership and the bureaucracy behind all these big corporations and things like that. But I think it's more effective to go over what I think has worked and what has worked in companies previously that I've had and companies that I currently have. So again, we can use some very, very good examples of big companies that people have heard of, Amazon, everything like that, that I think have pivoted to a more lenient leadership style. Now, this leadership in business is unbelievably important to have a little bit more of a lenient style, because as I said, if you're trying to attract top talent, which everyone should be, they are not just going to sit there for 10 years and just do their job. Because other people, it is a very competitive market. Other people will just give the opportunities that you aren't, like the ability to manage, give ideas, help innovate. So that is unbelievably important. Now, I would say, similarly to Jeff, not in that specific example of meetings, but that effective leadership, if you have data, I would love to be proven wrong. And the person who is more senior in that meeting or whatever, having a different idea, needs to be able to take a knee, take a bow, and be confident that they're not losing their position or anything like that over just a simple thing such as an idea or a change in policy or something like that. Because I think that's a lot of the biggest thing, like people try to step on other people, is they are not confident in themselves, in their ability, and they think someone's going to rise above them. I believe in the 52 laws of power, or rules of power, laws of power, something like that. One of them is never outshine your master. I believe that's number one, is never outshine your master. Now, the reason why they're saying that is because they will see you coming. If you go to a meeting and you start talking to their superiors above them, they're going to feel really attacked, because they're worried that you were going to take their position. Now, that's a super, super wrong way of thinking, but it's how it kind of is, unfortunately. So, what has worked for me? Now, you don't need to tell. If you have to tell people you're the boss, you're not the boss. So being confident in yourself, what you do in a day, and other parts of your life, I think are going to help you severely. I'll give you a very good example. Someone like Alex Hormozi. He's around 6 foot tall. He's absolutely jacked. Probably 10 to 12% body fat. Looks after himself. Looks very, very good. Now, I think things like that contribute to a person's outward-facing look on their own ability, meaning taking care of all parts of your life, is so important when actually then being confident in your work and going around effective leadership in business. For example, If you find everyone around you is bigger than you, smarter than you, everything like that, that's good, because it will push you to do further and further things. Now, despite that, people obviously get very jealous around these things as well. So even though it might be pushing you in the right direction, it may also be hindering you because you're worried that these people around you are going to be better than you and things like that, which that's just human nature. So once again, going back to Alex Hormozi, I don't think he worries as much now that he's jacked and big and everything like that people want to say, as much as if he was potentially a little bit of a smaller stature, not in height, but in frame and everything like that. So that's just one example of life. Then it could be such as your personal life with your relationship. If you, for example, really express bad things there. So I know this was effective leadership in business. It's kind of turned into a bit of a personal development talk, but it's unbelievably important and one of the biggest aspects of effective leadership. Because if you're confident in yourself and what you can do, then you wouldn't be as worried when you're stepping down on people, or you want to do the opposite. You want to push them up and actually push them into positions of power so that they can actually do the best they possibly can, fulfill their dreams. Now, that's one of the biggest and most important factors. But as I was saying before as well, a really aggressive leadership style hasn't worked for me previously in the past when I've seen it, and I've never really honestly tried a super aggressive leadership style because it just doesn't feel like it's right. Telling people that they're dog shit and they're terrible at what they do to try and make them better, I just don't think is the right mentality towards this. So I think a couple big takeaways from this is, as long as you can have data-driven decisions, that's unbelievably important. Making sure everyone is heard, because you need to take a step back as either CEO or a manager or director or anything like that, and know that some people under you will have better ideas than you. Because if they don't, then why do you hire them? There's no point if they bring nothing. Secondly, is personal development, making sure you're confident in yourself and what you stand for. So when someone comes up with something better than you, you're not as worried about them being better than in other parts of life. Because that's a big thing. Jealousy doesn't just come from how smart they are in business. It comes from, are they stronger than me? Are they bigger than me? Do they have a better personal life than me? Do they enjoy themselves more? Are they happier than me? It comes from everything like that. Those are the biggest things. And 3 is just stay away from an aggressive style of leadership. Don't tell people that you're the boss, because you have to. There's a big issue. Don't aggressively grill people. Turn things from negatives into positives all the time. Now, don't think of things as punishment, but more so just future consequences. So for example, that if someone does something wrong, don't just grill them on the spot and absolutely go to town on them. Be like, look, I didn't like that you did this. I'm not trying to diminish you or anything like that, but if you do this again, I'm going to have to do this, because I just think that's what's fair, because this was a big thing that was a mistake. So those are the biggest 3 takeaways from effective leadership in business, and my experience on that as well. So I would say they're quite important, especially the middle one, personal development. It's very important being confident in yourself and having confidence in the people around you in this part, because whatever part of life it is, people are going to always judge based on all aspects of life, not just personal and business. It's going to, trust me, it will cross over. Yeah. Apart from that, hope those 3 things were valuable and that you can at least use them to your advantage. But apart from that, James Lewis signing off.